Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Got another beautiful weekend in the state of Maine. It's really, really crazy how amazing this weather has been, and probably not great considering the extreme drought situation we've been in. We're going to get started. This is my every Sunday Clearing the Bases episode where I cover all the sports card news and fun little nuggets that happened in the past week that I didn't put in their own video, and it's a lot. So, looking forward to jumping in. As always, if you have any questions or comments, throw them down below. Here we go. All right, this all started. This is this is heavy on Geoff and PSA, at least in the beginning. Ryan Stadler, great follow on Twitter, posted this thing from Nat Turner that Nat posted on Blowout. I think I can never tell the difference between Net 54 and Blowout. This is Blowout. Yeah, posted this 6 years ago, so right before he bought Collectors, and it is a rant about the upcharges. And he has some very, very choice words about how bad it is. And uh, he says, I'm really struggling with here, as you can probably tell with this. It's not the money, although anyone would be insane to pay those prices for the three cards I mentioned above to have them in PSA holders. It's the process and integrity of the approach. Yeah, I want to like PSA as I like their product. I just don't like these recent examples. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so, Nat Turner, the guy who owns Collectors Universe, or is it just now Collectors, which owns PSA, right before he bought them, was saying how terrible upcharges were. And then Geoff Wilson comes out and says, I don't care what anyone says. This is the greatest email you can get, especially on a single card submission when PSA now thinks the card is worth $100,000. Take my money all day long, PSA. Grading is the most immediate value increase money can buy. And yeah, I mean, on the face of it, Geoff is right. But what he's talking about is the email that says that they have to upcharge him. And they are charging him over $4,000 to grade a card instead of the normal 50-ish dollars. And he's just like, yeah, this is great. This is amazing. I love this. And Geoff, this past week, expressed an interest in coming on my podcast, my Meet a Content Creator podcast, which can be found on Sports Card Clubhouse podcast network. And I said, yeah, Geoff, I'd love to. Geoff and I have had beef in the past, and he alluded to it in one of the responses. And I will absolutely, I told him we will absolutely address those things in the podcast. And then he stopped responding. So I don't know if he felt like I wasn't going to be a safe enough space for him, or maybe he'll come back next week. I told him to send me his availability, and it's been like 4 or 5 days now, and he stopped responding when I said we were going to address those controversies. So anyway, Geoff loves upcharges. He loves paying more for the same service. And a bunch of people have alluded to Geoff mentioning a, a blackjack dealer and how you tip them afterwards. I didn't find that tweet. I don't know if he deleted it or if I just didn't see it. But this person says, I'm on the side of PSA upcharges not being a big deal, but the blackjack dealer doesn't hold my $50,000 until I tip $4,000. Yeah. So you win $50,000 at the blackjack table. It would be nice if you tipped the dealer, but he's still going to give you $50,000 even if you don't. So that comparison, again, I don't know if Geoff said that or if it was somebody else, but clearly somebody did because a bunch of people were alluding to this. Bad comparison. And then other people, and Geoff kept tweeting about this. Like he realized the upcharges get engagement, and he tweeted a lot about this. And other people were talking about remodeling your home. This guy says when you remodel your home, the contractor doesn't keep part of your equity. Yeah, it's true. Your contractor isn't going to come in and say this is going to cost you $50,000 to do, and then at the end of it, they don't say, Hey, I know we told you 50,000, but we actually increased your equity by more than we expected. So we're going to take another 3,500 before we can let you back in your house. And then here's Nat talking about charging the upcharges. Neo interviewed him, I think last year. Yeah, last year, it says right there. Uh, and Benny says the last public filing had lost reserves of only $600,000. And I don't claim to understand business financial statements, but this tells me that they were prepared for losses, meaning paying out grades probably of $600,000. But Nat says that they've paid out in excess of $10 million in claims in 4 years. And as Benny points out, that undermines their credibility. They are making mistakes and more expensive ones at a far higher rate than before. And then this guy, this is a GameStop guy. I believe there's currently a paid campaign to bash PSA card. I'm sorry. I do not get paid to bash PSA card, to bash PSA. I don't know anybody who does. I can't imagine who would be paying them. And he says likely funded by PSA's competitors. Uh, I don't think any of PSA's competitors have any money to pay people. I've never heard of Beckett paying anybody in the last 4 years. CGC, I don't think is. I might be mistaken. I guess they had a Mojo at one point, right? But no, there's nobody's paying people to say bad things about PSA. In fact, very few people are saying bad things about PSA because most people, most creators are actually paid by PSA. I am not, and I don't talk about upcharges much because they don't affect my viewers. It affects a very, very small percentage of PSA customers. I've never had a card upcharged. I don't even use PSA anymore. But upcharges are stupid. They're bad. And I know the argument is, well, they increase your price, your value so much more. Yeah, but yeah, it's a waste of time arguing over it. And then here we go with Beckett again. I think this is the second week in a row they've seen all the controversy around PSA upcharges, and then they put out this ad, which is brilliant. At Beckett, grading a $50 card and a $500,000 card cost the same. Good for Beckett. And then Kel Varnson cards. I love this. He's got this meme from Ghost. Geoff Wilson is the Patrick Swayze character, and the PSA Upcharge is the Demi Moore character. Very funny. If you don't want to be upcharged, you should store your cards in the Penny Sleever Mags. This is the best product in the industry. You can use my code JWH2025 for 10% off your order. The Penny Sleever, these are the best magnetic card holders around. Get 10% off any products on your first order on the pennysleever.com. Link is in the description to this video. Oh, yeah. And then Kel Varnson also had this one. When you defend PSA upcharges by sharing a very relatable story of submitting a single card worth $100,000. Yeah. All right. And this is another thing. And Dan the Card Man also did a video on this. But Auburn 35, the legend, Auburn 35, says the link between upcharges, which is added value, and the guarantee is his biggest complaint. Quick to collect money for upcharges, but so many ways to avoid accountability for authentication and labeling errors. And then he uses my guy Kin. This is IndyCar Cards on Twitter. Great account. And this is over 2 years ago. Posted that he bought a refractor, Mickey Mantle refractor, and it was labeled by PSA as a refractor. When he got it in hand, realized it was not a refractor. It was mislabeled by PSA. It was actually a base card. And PSA refused to do anything about it. They sent him to eBay, and eBay sent him to PSA, and he got the runaround from both of them. So they've paid out $10 million in errors, but we know of a lot more errors out there that they've never paid out on. And here's Jeff's response. me saying, "Yeah, let me know your availability. We could schedule it." And he said, "Only if we can have an extended discussion about the pronunciation of 1970s starting pitchers from Cuba." And he said Cubs, but I assume that was just spelling autocorrect. And I said, "I promise that will be a topic of discussion. Let's do this." He did not respond. And that was on the 14th. That was 5 days ago. All right, moving on to Topps. Topps is moving their debut patch auto cards over to basketball, which is cool. And here's what they look like. It's a new logo, man. I really like the baseball ones and how unique they were. I also really like these a lot, but they're not as unique and as cool as the baseball ones. But the logo man is very popular with basketball. Uh, and Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and MVPs from the prior year will all wear gold debut patches. All right, again, Ryan Stadler, another good tweet. Top and middle pick are the same card, just one from the post, one from PSA, and then an OC example. So here we have these are PSA 10s, the top and the middle one, PSA 10s. Look at how off center this Dick Buckus is. It's a PSA 10, but as Ryan says, that's 80/20 centering at best. And here's a Mint 9 OC. What's the difference? They're virtually identical. Why would this one get a 10? Terrible. All right, normally I would go to Sports Card Yoda's Instagram and find this, but it looks like it was a story and it's gone now. So I'm going to use this tweet here. Sports Card Yoda put a $100,000 bounty on the LeBron James Top Superfractor 1/1 auto. And this is his, what, 22nd year? LeBron's 23rd year. Yeah, because 23, it's his 23rd year, I'm pretty sure. So he's offering $100,000 on the superfractor of this card here. And I said this last week. He's just calmly dribbling up the court. And then somebody else said, well, very, very smart comment. Said, well, you love the Larry Bird one. Well, Larry Bird wasn't just calmly dribbling up the court, right? I was a little bit hypocritical about Larry Bird. But this is not a great image of LeBron. And this person, you spent 5 minutes on Canva and recreated it. Look at how much better this one looks than this. Very basic. This is an insanely confusing thing here. And I even asked, I tweeted it out. I said, somebody explain this to me like I'm five. And a bunch of people were equally confused. But this guy, LG Bass 97, tweeted at Nat Turner and said PSA is not ready to be doing grade and sell specials or even selling on eBay. It shouldn't take 3 weeks to get paid for cards I bought from myself. So he graded some cards and decided to sell them through eBay from PSA to get a special deal. And he even says right here, PSA was selling the cards on a grade and sell special, so I should receive the proceeds from the sale, which has not happened. So he sent the cards to PSA to get graded, agreed to sell them through PSA's eBay store, and then he bought them back. So they're in his vault already, and he wants to buy them and put them in his vault. And he's upset because PSA has said, hang on a second. You can't transfer them from your vault to your vault. You can't buy them from yourself. This is how I understand this. If you understand this any differently than I do, please let me know. But in this case, PSA, I don't think did anything wrong because this guy is trying to play the system to save himself a few dollars on grading, I guess. I think he's probably out of luck here, and he might get banned from using PSA and eBay. I don't know. And you've got Wicked Sports RI, another great account, trying to explain it to me and doing a This was the most thoughtful, most helpful explanation I got. The system wasn't set up to accommodate this sort of thing, so it glitched when the vault software tried to transfer ownership from him to him. Yeah, best example here, best explanation. And Ryan Sadler says it's probably not a scam because a lot of people were saying it was a scam. He'd rather pay the fee to PSA consignment over taking what he thinks was a larger loss, probably. That plus getting the grading discount while getting the cards back somehow. All right, this is a SGC Authentic Mickey Mantle that has been restored. And you can see up here, it has like there's some sort of restoration that's been done because part of it was ripped out. So it was repaired and it sold for $34,000. So if you're okay with a restoration job, this is a really nice SGC Authentic for $34,000. It feels inexpensive to me. Darren Rovell tweeted this one out. This is LSU Tigers ace Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens' pro debut Pirates game ticket, and he's got hundreds of them, and trying to sell them on eBay. And it's unusual when you're trying to sell something. He doesn't claim that they're rare, thankfully, but when you show how much product you have, it's strange, right? People are going to say, wait a second, I don't need to pay at that price. These are going to be available in 2 years from now at a lower price. All right, we got a couple things here from Sports Collectors Daily. This is Arkansas collector Andy Smith was the victim of a brazen theft when he set up at a card show in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And here's the security video. There's no sound to it, but you can see this guy walking up there, just grabs a box of cards, and he is gone. Barely even looks around. Hopefully that showed up on your screen. Here's what the guy looks like. Very brazen. They're right. That was brazen. The man left the hotel and drove away in a white sedan. This is $5,000 worth of T205 and T206 baseball cards. That guy knew what he was doing. Oh, and where was the dealer? He was making a deal with somebody else. Yeah, Smith was dealing with another customer. Always best to have an extra person at your table. All right, and this is a terrible story, but has a happy ending. A Southern California man and his wife left with and they hired house sitters through a website dedicated to house sitters. And when they returned, the house was a mess, and their Babe Ruth autographed baseball, maybe the nicest one in existence, among other things, were missing. This story was told on my friend Greg Midlife Sports Cards channel. Here's the video right here. Babe Ruth auto stolen, posted 4 days ago, and this is Greg's friend. And so he told the story. He's got information from the guy. Go watch. I'll try to remember to link it. I often forget in the description. We already talked about debut patch autos. Here is the Cooper Flag rookie base card. A lot of people are saying they hate the rookie card logo. I like it. It's a little reminiscent of the tennis one too. It's kind of, uh, I don't know. It's not. I feel like the old ones were better and the baseball ones are better, but I don't mind it. All right. I think this came from Sam, my longtime subscriber, great commenter, sent me this AliExpress US ad. Panini, these are Panini Downtown DIYs. 70% off. These are custom downtowns. And AliExpress apparently has been doing this like crazy. And the legend, Meatballs, says Etsy has made some efforts to clean up their site. AliExpress has moved in and taken over the counterfeit market. Fake cards, slabs, and boxes. Be careful out there. Yeah, AliExpress is I mean, these downtowns look better. They kind of do. All right, I got some big sales here. Clay Thompson's 2018 Kaboom Green 1 of 1 PSA 10 increased by 70x in 6 years. It sold for 1,600 in 2019, 111,000 this year. What has Clay Thompson done since then? He's won one title, and that's it. He won three of his titles before that first sale, and only one since then. Are people banking on another title? I can't imagine why they would be. Cool card, I guess. I don't know why this is a six-figure card. People are just paying for rarity. Drake May stock rising fast. Yeah, Patriots QB. 2024 Donruss Optic Nebula PSA 9 1 of 1 has doubled in price in a month, in 6 weeks roughly. More than doubled in price. Here's the card, by the way. Topps Tiffany 1985 Mark McGuire rookie. PSA 10. And this is the Tiffany. Sold for $25,000 this past week. Highest public sale ever for this card, about 50% more than it sold for 8 months ago. Now we have this Jordan. This has 5 days remaining, almost. 2008 Exquisite Collection Emblems of Endorsement. Michael Jordan Patch Auto 1010, currently at $650,000 plus taxes and fees. How much is this one going to sell for? A lot. Speaking of a lot, this is the Babe Ruth, and a lot of people thought that this would be up to $10+ million, and it might still get there. It is currently at 3.5 million, and it hasn't really changed much in the last couple of weeks. 3.5 million right here. This one last sold for 7.2 million a couple of years ago. This exact card appears to be quite overgraded by SGC. And then this is a signed, there are only 18 signed 84 star Michael Jordans. This is a PSA 6 with an 8 auto. Autograph looks great. I don't know why. Probably streaking or something that isn't that noticeable. Currently just shy of $300,000. And then we have Fanatics Collect Weekly Auction. Couldn't have timed it better unless Vladdy goes absolutely crazy in the playoffs. This sold for $55,000. His Superfractor rookie auto, $55,000. This is something I covered a few months back, thanks to the legend Auburn 35. This card, actually, Ben Burrows originally posted this in May. This card here, well, let's see if we can get a better image of it. Sold for $19,000 on an old PSA slab and label. It was then reholdered to the new label, still with a PSA 10, sold for $30,000. So they made a better than a 50% profit in a very, very short period of time. And then people like Auburn 35 started saying, hey, this is in terrible condition. You can see all these scratches. Why would PSA reholder this at a 10 still? And then PSA took it back and they reholdered it in a PSA Authentic, and it sold for $2,850. So is this one where PSA paid out the difference? $20,000 roughly, $27,000? Or is this another one where somebody's out of money because PSA reholdered it improperly? You got to be careful out there. You see this Mickey Mantle 56 Topps, and you've been looking. You have been looking and wanting a 56 Topps mantle, and this one looks nice. This guy posted this asking for $5,000 in 1985 and older Fire Sales vintage baseball card page. And it is very clearly made with AI. Hopefully, nobody would fall for this because you don't even see what grade it is. That's how bad this generative AI was. But we've seen people fall for AI baseball card scams before. Hopefully they didn't hear. All right, and Mega Card Investor asks, which one are you taking? And you can't say both. I know this this Superfractor one of one auto is probably more valuable, but this one here, I assume this is an aftermarket autograph. It's a red card with a white kanji autograph. Looks amazing. I love this card. I would take it. And then some people are saying he's in his Dodgers uniform here. He's not here. Valid. That doesn't really matter all that much to me. Somebody collected all of the patches of Sandy Koufax. And this is pretty cool. Then they got them all graded by PSA, and they have consecutive PSA cert numbers, which is also kind of cool. You know, I like these unique collections. Speaking of unique collections, this is the 1988 home run game, Kirk Gibson home run in the World Series from 1988, Game 1, autographed by Gibson, Dennis Eckersley, and Vin Scully, who made the call. This is a really, really cool piece. All right, here we have Reddit. This person, Rude Personality 10, was going through their old collection. They're not even a collector anymore. They saw somebody had a Brady one of one, and he decided to go through his old cards. No longer collects, but found this Jeter one of one in his binder. Awesome. Very cool. I don't believe he has sold it yet. And then another Redditor, Dusty D69. A couple months ago, he pulled Evan Carter's one of one card, took a chance and messaged Evan Carter just saying, would you trade for a one of one of your card? Evan Carter said yes. And he traded an autographed rookie card and an autographed ball. And it looks like he inscribed it to Dustin, and then I can't read the rest of that, but very cool. Smart idea. And then this is an actual game used lineup card from Topps where Cal Raleigh is written in as Dumper. I do have to wonder if this was organic by the Mariners manager or if Topps asked him to do that and offered to buy it. I'm a little cynical. I am. That's all I've got for today. Make sure you check out Sports Card Clubhouse, my podcasting network with my partners, Greg of Midlife Cards and Adam of Splendid Sports. We're putting out some really good stuff, and we have a lot of really, really fun stuff coming up. And then the Penny Sleever link is in the description. Code JWH2025 for 10% off your first order. Hope you all have a great Sunday. I will see you all soon.